Okay, so the period, if you remember back to the first part, which is right here, we said that the period is going to be 2 pi, and we said that that's because it is going to stretch from here to here, and that's when it starts to repeat itself. And so that's going to be the 2 pi that we got right here. So now, if we're going to adjust that, what we have to do is that we have this little formula right here, and you notice that, again, here is just kind of way to keep track of the 4 things that we're going to, or the 4 steps that we're going to need to do to put the graph on, or put the function onto the graph nicely. And so we're going to grab this value right here, b, and we have to divide that into 2 pi to see what the graph is going to look like. Okay, and again, it's just adjusting that horizontal distance where the graph starts to repeat itself. So let me put on the graph of the original function, just a regular parent sine, and showing that in real time. 0, 90 degrees, or pi over 2, 1, back down to 0, here, and here. Okay, and I'm just putting 1 period on there and adjusting it just so we can see the difference between the two. Okay, and I'm just going to leave it like that. It goes on forever, but I don't want our graph, or our graphs to be too smashed in here. So if I were to do this, okay, so that basically means is that the distance where it's going to repeat itself, we're always going to start at 0 when we're looking at this, and we want to find out when does it start repeating itself, and so I go 2 pi, and I divide by the b, which is going to be 2, and it looks like pi is going to be when it starts to repeat itself. So that means is that this graph is going to get her done from this point to this point. And so that means is that basically kind of breaking this up, and I'm just going to refer back to the original graph real quick. Okay, notice that this is put into, right, these sections here. So it has like 4 sections. So you want to think of sine as those 4 sections there. So, and they're all going to be even. So when I do this for anything where the period has changed, I still want 4 even sections where it's going to go up, down, down, up, or what have you through the entire period. So backing all those dotted lines out, I'm going to see if I can break this up into even. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to cut this in half first, the distance between the 2 purples, and purple x-intercepts, and then I'm going to go like this. And this is going to help me put the pieces together. So I'm going right here, okay, and then I got to go back down to here, and then right here, and then back up into the original. Okay, so now I have all of those points nicely mapped out, and what I'm going to do is erase some of this stuff out so it doesn't look too yucky. And you can see we go up, and then down, and then down, and then up. And so you can see that the period has gone from 2 pi to just pi. Okay? And so that has shortened the period and by half. Now, we can also lengthen the period, and so that would mean if I had, going back to the right-hand side here, this would be like 1/2 right here. So this would be like 1/2 x. So that means I get the 2 pi, which is always going to stay the same for sine, and cosine for that matter, we'll get there, and divide that by 1/2, and so I get 4 pi. So that means is that from here to here, that's when the sine wave is going to go ahead and go through one period. So what I do is that I say, okay, well, what's the in-between part of those two red dots is going to be right in the center here. Okay, and later on we might have to do more calculations to get these, but this is just a general idea of how to do this. Okay, and so we have this, and this guy right here. And so we need to go up to 1 first. Okay, and then we go down, and then we go down to a -1 here. And then we can connect all the dots. Going through 1 period. And the period then is going to be 4 pi, okay, as we see right here. Okay, so that's how we adjust things on basically like a periodic or a horizontal scale. And the next video, we're going to take a look at shifting this thing right and left, and that's called a phase shift. And so see you in the next video.